So today we're going to talk about differences between adjustment, which is here, and also filters. Okay. And also I'm going to explain you the difference between a raster image and then a smart object image. So they'll be different. They are in many ways different. Now let's see one example. So if I were to add an image from the computer, I mean, it can be this, which has like very big amount of pixels. That's why you see it colorful. The reason you see images colorful because it's combined of many different pixels. The more pixels you have, the more varieties of colors you have. The color range of colors is more. Okay, that's why. That's how they came up with generating images on computer. You know, these AI. So AI is simply assigning colors. Okay, choosing colors between 0 to billions. And imagine like this. So some people ask, where do we need math? This is where you need math, guys. If you're into science of imaging, if you're not just blindly user, if you want to contribute into things, you have to know little math. If not professional, like deep math, little math is usually enough. So dealing with numbers is a little dealing with colors. Now, let me add one picture. It's gonna keep it simple, Mario. When you first initially add it, it comes in pixelated version. So make a right click. You see, wait a minute. Yeah, you see, it says convert to smart object. Means it is pixel raster image. But if it was a smart object, how could you tell if it's a smart object? By looking here. This is how. If you convert to a smart object, you're gonna have a tiny little squaric image on the right bottom corner. You see, that means it's a smart object. You also make a right click. If it gives you option to rasterize, it means it's a smart object. Okay, so it gives me another option, rasterize. But if it doesn't give me rasterize, it's already a raster image. What is raster? Image based on pixels. Now, that's the difference between a pixel and object visually. Now, when it comes to coloring them, so let me do this, guys. Let me open two different photopias. This is photopia number 1 with a smart object here, right? I'm going to also open another photopia and add the same image, but I'm going to have it in raster form. So here, exactly same image. But difference is, you see here it is raster image. Here it is smart object. So let's do this. Let's add a filter. For instance, filter. I'm going to add blur. Let's say just regular blur on the blur. Okay. And I'm adding the same blur in the, to the other photopia. Blur and blur. So what's the difference between this and this? What do you guys see? What difference do you see between this here, this image, and also this one? Look at this layer and look at this layer. You guys have additional smart filter, right? So the difference here is if you were to add filters onto a smart object, you can literally turn it on and off like this. You see? Turn it on. You don't see much difference here because it is not a perfect image to do the blur. But here, you cannot change it anymore. You have to Control Z it. So here you lose the original image. If you don't have the original picture, you lose it. So whatever change you do will be added on top of that image, and then the image changes. But on here, you are able to cancel that. You see, I uncheck the eye. It has no filter. So let's add another image. Okay, this one clearly doesn't show what I'm trying to explain. So I'm going to use another filter. So let me open the same image, But this time I'm not going to do filter, I'm going to do adjustment. And we also need to understand the difference between filters and adjustments. Okay, so let me add adjustment this time. Image, adjustment, and then let's play with the hue saturation. You know what hue saturation is? So when you have the hue saturation, you see this image, I'm able to change its colors. For example, how many different colors we have here in this Mario image? Many. For example, from range, you can choose. I want to only change red color, and it's going to only affect red colors. You see? Not going to touch other colors. If you, let's say, pick blue, it's going to only change blue colors. If you choose master, it's going to affect all the colors. Okay? Let's say I have this change. Okay, and there, my image has been changed, right? Quietly. I'll show it again. So this was for raster. So this is a raster image, right? Now, I'm going to go back to the other image, close it, open the same image again. But this time, I'm going to make it smart object. Make right-click and then convert to smart object. Now, let's add the same hue saturation. So hue saturation, again, it is under image and adjustments. Okay? Hue saturation. Now, pull it aside and then change the color like this. So now, it's different than the original, right? Now, you see, here I can undo it by unchecking the filter. Look, I'm unchecking it. It's back to normal. You put a check again, it is again the way you changed it. In here, you cannot have that. You see, I don't have options to undo it if it's been saved already. So again, some cases, if you're dealing with a very professional images, you're like designing something, let's say you have an original image, you're adding a lot of changes onto it, you definitely have to go with smart object, and then you add changes, because in that case, you'll be able to bring it back to original state. When it's raster image, like in here, you can't do that. Now, so that's the difference between raster and object, smart object. If that makes sense to you, everybody. Do you guys have any questions? Raster and object. So raster, you change the color of the pixels, you cannot bring them back unless you use undo. For smart object, you're adding smart filters, which you can turn off and on, and you still have the original image. What is the difference between filters, which have like various different filter, and then what's the difference adjustment? So just mainly know this, guys. Adjustment works with colors only. It only changes the color. It does not change the form of your image. It just changes the color. Okay? But filter, you are able to deform your image. For instance, you can make it 3D, which is typically a deformation, right? Or you can swirl it, or you can like liquefy it, make it look like you dropped a drop of water, and then you mix up the colors of the painting. That are done on the filter. So that's the difference between filter and adjustment. So what you're gonna do today is, Emily, since you asked, you're gonna add any image. You can download image from internet. So I'm gonna go with the same nature image that I had yesterday. So open. Let's see if I have it still. This is the original one. Okay. Now try to play with its adjustments. For example, try to make it maybe black and white. You can try black and white. Pull it aside. You see, your image became black and white. You can play with its colors. So colorize. It's picked the black color, right? What if I pick the red? What would happen? You see? You can make these arrangements. Just play with it, make some changes, okay? And then you apply the changes you have. You need to save it as PNG. Sorry, GIF. But it has to be a raster. Okay? No? Okay. Let me make it simpler. Okay, here we go, guys. So this is your task. Open an image. Is it clear up to this point? You open an image, right? Okay, turn it into a smart object. Step 2, turn it into smart object, convert to smart object. And then add one adjustment and then one filter. If you add adjustment, let's say black and white, it's gonna be like a filter. You see, you still can uncheck it. And you also add one filter. Let's say liquify. So here. All right, so you see how many things I added. I added one liquify. So if I want to check it, I'm going to just check it like this and then see it. So you see liquify, okay. And I want to see the second one, which is black and white. Let me put it here. All right, there we go. For black and white, I think I made a little mistake, so it's not showing. Okay, so I want to see this. Look, smart filters, and I want to have two things here. One, liquify. Two, one item from the adjustment. That's your task today. Okay. So again, you add an image, you convert it to smart object, then you add one image adjustment and one filter. And then you save it as GIF. File, export as GIF. And you attach that to your Google Classroom.